Welcome to this published author's interview. My name is Kenneth Muyingo, and with me I have a special guest that I'm going to be having an interview with. First, I just want to mention, if you watch this interview and you would like to write a book yourself, there is a link with the interview wherever you will watch it to join the group, become an author, and write your first book, to connect with like-minded people who are doing the same thing. And with that said, I would like to get into the interview by asking my guest to say hello to our listeners and viewers and to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name's Tylia Flores. I'm a 25-year-old. I was born with the form of cerebral palsy called spastic dysplasia, but I never allowed it to determine my will or destroy my determination. I started writing books at the age of 16 after the tragic loss to my friend Daniel, who also had cerebral palsy and a brain tumor. And that's how my career started, basically. And now, 8 years later, I am now advocating for disability rights.
Wow, that's quite something, Tyler. Thank you so much for making time for the interview and for sharing this with us. It's
No problem.
wow. And so you mentioned a condition. It's what is it again?
Cerebral palsy, and globally, over 17 billion children are diagnosed with it at birth, but it's a lifetime condition. Like, it's
Wow.
not curable, but I have the most severe kind.
Yeah.
But luckily, I've been able to use my condition and the stories that I have to tell through my condition to write my stories and share my story with the world, and help other people with my same condition get awareness about what they're going through, because although cerebral palsy is the most common condition,
Yeah.
nobody speaks about it.
I see. Wow. Well, thank you so much for standing up and being a voice for all those people that do not speak about this. And wow, so you started writing when you were 16, you said?
Thank you. So
You started writing when you were 16?
yes, I've started writing when I was 15 after I lost my best friend. He had cerebral palsy and he had a brain tumor.
Oh,
So, in order for me to channel my grief, I decided to write a book called James Ticking Time Bomb, and that is available on Amazon. And I'm currently working on a second novel that focuses on disability advocacy.
yeah. So the first book is James Ticking Time Bomb.
Yes, sir.
Wow. And you're currently working on a second book, and the title is?
The title is going to be called Why I Advocate, and that basically goes into my autobiography and the experience that I've had in life that caused me to want to become an advocate at 18.
Wow. That's very courageous of you, Tyler. Thank you so much. And so maybe you can
And
tell us about
when I was
Ticking Time Bomb.
Thank you.
You were saying something?
I was saying thank you.
You're welcome. And maybe you can tell us about, so the Ticking Time Bomb was the first book, right? Jem's Ticking Time Bomb,
Yes,
right?
that was the first book.
Tell us about that. And
Yes, sir.
considering that you were writing since you were 15, uh, what inspired you? If you mentioned the loss of your best friend, but is there something else that you could point to that you say
Mm-hmm.
it inspired you to write the book?
It inspired me to write the book because I wanted a way to channel my grief, and Hold on one second. I gotta turn off my echo. Echo, turn the alarm off. Gotta love accessible technology.
Very nice.
So what I was saying was that what inspired me to write James Ticking Time Bomb was the death of my best friend Daniel, but I wanted to write a unique story that would tell people live your life to the best of your ability, enjoy your life, achieve everything you want to achieve, because you never know when your time is up.
Indeed. That's very well said. Thank you so much, Talia. And what about Why I Advocate? That's the second book that you're working on right now, right?
Yes.
We will
The
get some time to talk about this one later on. I'm curious about first the James Ticking Time Bomb. And I like how you mentioned this, that if you feel there's something that you want to do, just go ahead and do it.
Yep, just go ahead and do it.
And then, how did you choose the topic for the book? Was there sort of a struggle, or was it like an instant decision?
It was an instant decision what I wanted to do with James Ticking Time Bomb. I mean, I got the idea while in Barnes & Noble drinking a vanilla bean frappuccino.
Uh-huh.
So that's where the idea came from. I was drinking a vanilla bean in Barnes & Noble because in America we have them connected, and I had a daydream of me writing books. I was in the teen section, and I had a daydream of me writing a book and signing a book, and I didn't know what. So I came home, I opened my MacBook Pro, and I wrote the first sentence. Hey, see that kid over there sitting on that bench? That's me, James Crimson. And there it was. James was born.
Wow. Wow, thank you so much for standing up for your dream. Sometimes many people have daydreams like this, and they sort of push them under the rug or just ignore them. If somebody is watching this interview and they are the kind of people that have ideas like that to do things and they don't act on them, how would you advise them?
I would just say, what are you doing? Write. Pick up a pen and write. Open up your computer and write. Your story needs to be told.
Indeed.
So
Wow.
go ahead, pick up a pen or open up the computer for your modern folks, because I know there's going to be a lot of modern folks watching this, and just write your story. And remember, your first draft is always going to suck.
Indeed. Wow. Thank you so much. And so, looking at the journey from when you were 15 to right now, 8 years, do you consider yourself as a naturally talented writer, or would you say that writing is a skill that you've developed over time?
I think I would say that I was gifted with the gift to write, but it took me time. I had to even for the second book, it's taken me 8 years because I have had several different ideas and I couldn't pick one. So I think with me, it took a lot of time and practice, and I've got to learn a lot of patience too. So
I see. Wow, that's very interesting indeed. As far as writing, there's the element or the aspect of patience that needs to be learned. And what would you tell me is the one thing that has happened to you personally that has had the greatest impact on you writing books?
well, the greatest impact is because I'm also a contributor for several different sites too, and I talk about my disability as well.
Yeah.
So the greatest impact that I received is getting my articles shared by organizations and getting emails from parents saying how you just helped my child, you just spoke for my child.
Yeah. Wow.
And the one that choked me up the most recently was I was doing an event for the Americans Disability Act here in America because it was passed 30 years ago, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. And
Yeah.
I was reciting my poem Why at a big event, and this man comes up to me, he goes, Tylia, my father's in his old ages and you just spoke for him. He's he's very old. He's 76 years old, and you just spoke for him.
Wow. That's very special indeed.
And that got me choked up.
Yeah. Yeah, it is special. And it's wow. And so then we talk about why I advocate. So this is the current project that you're working on. And you
Yes,
mentioned,
this is the.
can you tell us more about that?
Well, I could go into a little bit just because it's for you. Basically, it's basically me writing about my real life experiences and why I got into advocacy and how those real life experience changed my life and it shaped me.
Yeah.
As a
Wow.
person with a disability, we live in America, but in America we have the ADA law that was passed, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, and to a certain extent I felt very stuck in society.
Yeah.
Having a condition that no one understands and you're constantly having to fight, it's exhausting. So I said, you know what? I'm in the middle of this pandemic. Why don't I write the story?
Yeah. Wow. Very courageous of you. And so why I advocate was born. And
Yeah, and actually, my mom, I was sitting by the pool because I have a pool, and I was sitting by there, and my mother actually gave me the idea for the book because I had just turned 25 about a month ago on July the 7th, and my mother gave me the idea for the book. She's like, why don't you write a book about why you advocate for CP and talk about your life experiences? And there you go.
yeah.
So it
Wow.
was born in the mix of this pandemic.
And just through a conversation and an idea that mom presented to you and you picked it up and ran with it. Very nice.
Yeah.
And the title is, it's really to the point why I advocate. And it just, it gets me curious almost right away. I just want to know what your reasons are. And it's I'm reminded of something somebody said, that if we know the why to something, we can endure almost anyhow. And I like what you
Yes, and we could continue to educate the world.
indeed.
And that's the message that I want to spread, that despite my disability and despite the obstacles that I face, I am more than capable and eligible of achieving my dreams of being an advocate and a self-published author. And another motto I go by is, despite the obstacles, you got to keep stomping on CP.
Wow, I've seen that on your page, Stomping on CP. It's wow. You are very courageous, Tylia, and I just want to applaud you for being strong and for standing up for the millions of people around the world that need the kind of voice that you give. And I like what you mentioned, that when you went and spoke at this place, that this man came and said, "You spoke for my dad today." And I think that's the beauty of having a voice, or choosing to stand up to share what we feel strongly about. Because in so doing, we sort of unconsciously give other people permission to let their light shine.
Exactly. And
And
I want people to know that it's okay to go through obstacles in your story, but what's not okay is that you stay on the same page.
yeah,
And your
that's,
life is like a book,
yeah, go for it.
because
I'm listening.
every day we turn a new page over, and we get a book of a hundred, and we get a book of 375 days every year.
I see. And so the rule is we just have to keep turning the pages, not to get stuck on one page.
Exactly. And keep being
I
the
remember
person
this
you
for the
are.
rest of my life.
Thank you,
Wow.
sir.
It's it's just running in my mind that I love to read, and it's I had never thought about this like this, and I really appreciate that.
Thank
Um,
you. I'm
and
a,
this was really
my,
nice, Tylia. You were saying something?
thank you. My main message that I want to get to all the authors listening to this show on this Friday is be the best author that you could be, and just write your story to the best of your ability. And if people don't like the obstacles you face, so what? You're your main protagonist of your own life, so take the pen and write the story.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much. And if somebody's watching this interview and they would like to connect with you, Tylia, where is the best place for them to connect with you?
The best place for them to connect with me would be Facebook under Stomping on Cerebral Palsy with Tylia. My Instagram is Stomping on CP with Tylia, and my website is www.tyliaflores.com.
Very nice. We'll put those links with the interview so that people can connect with you. And where can people buy your book, Gems
Oh,
Taking Time Bomb?
you could currently buy that on Amazon right now. It's available on Amazon. And the second book, stay tuned for updates on that one. And I'll come back to do an interview on why I advocate once that's ready and available for everyone to read.
Very nice. I'm looking forward to this conversation, and we'll put the link to Jem's Ticking Time Bomb with the interview as well so that people can buy the book. And this was very inspiring and very insightful, Talia. Is there anything else that you would like to mention that I was not able to address in the interview?
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure having you, and I really appreciate what you're doing and the courage that you have to step up and live life fully.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure, and I thank you for giving authors the platform to share their stories on your pages and all the great work you're doing. Like, you're a phenomenal life coach. I I read some of your stuff, and I was like, wow, he's right on the money with this.
Well, thank you so much, Talia.